Have you ever wondered why so many seniors regret remarrying after 70? If you're over 70 and considering tying the knot again, this video could save you from heartbreak, financial disaster, or even legal turmoil. At first, remarriage might seem like a second chance at love, but what if it quietly strips away your hard-earned security, freedom, and peace? The truth is, love after 70 isn't the same as love in your 40s or 50s. Without realizing it, you could lose control of your savings, become trapped in caregiving duties, or even see your family torn apart over inheritance battles. But here's why you need to watch until the end. The final reason we reveal will change how you think about companionship forever, and could help you avoid a mistake that too many seniors only recognize when it's too late. This isn't about fear, it's about making the wisest choice for the life you've built. So if you value your independence, your legacy, and your happiness, keep watching, because what you don't know about remarriage after 70 could cost you everything. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video, you can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Financial vulnerability. Falling in love in your 70s can feel like a gift, a companion to share meals, conversations, and the quiet moments of life. But beneath the warmth of new romance lies a sobering reality. Remarriage at this age can jeopardize the financial security you've spent decades building. Your nest egg, comprising your pension, savings, home, and investments, represents not just money but your independence, peace of mind, and legacy. A single marriage certificate, however, can expose it all to risks you might not foresee. Marriage, by its legal nature, intertwines your financial life with your spouse's, regardless of their intentions. If your new partner brings debts, such as medical bills, credit card balances, or loans, those obligations can indirectly or directly impact your resources. Even if they have no debt, their financial habits or family expectations, like supporting adult children, could strain your carefully planned budget. Many older adults assume they can keep their finances separate after remarriage, but the law often has other plans. Without explicit legal protections, like a prenuptial agreement, your assets may become part of a shared financial landscape. The stakes are higher than personal spending habits. Remarriage can alter your eligibility for critical benefits. For instance, if you're receiving Social Security survivor benefits from a deceased spouse, remarrying after age 60 typically ends those payments, potentially slashing your monthly income. Medicaid eligibility, which many rely on for long-term care, can also be affected, as your new spouse's income and assets are factored into the equation. These changes can catch couples off guard, leaving them with less financial flexibility than anticipated. Inheritance is another minefield. You may have clear plans to leave your estate, your home, savings, or cherished heirlooms, to your children or grandchildren. But remarriage can complicate or even derail those intentions. In many jurisdictions, a new spouse has legal rights to a portion of your estate, sometimes overriding your existing will unless it's updated with ironclad provisions. If your spouse has children from a previous marriage, your assets could inadvertently flow to their family instead of yours, sparking disputes that fracture relationships. Without meticulous estate planning, including trusts or updated beneficiary designations, your legacy may not reach those you intended. The emotional toll of financial vulnerability cannot be overstated. Losing control over your resources can lead to anxiety, shame, and a sense of powerlessness. Many seniors hesitate to discuss their financial struggles with their children, fearing judgment or guilt, which compounds their isolation. The marriage that promised joy becomes a source of stress, as the independence they cherished erodes. Consider Ellen, a 74-year-old widow who remarried a kind widower from her church group. Their shared faith and companionship felt like a second chance at happiness. But Ellen was unaware of her new husband's significant medical debt and lack of savings. Within 2 years, she dipped into her retirement fund to cover his expenses, under pressure to revise her will to include his family. Her children, devastated by the changes, felt betrayed, and Ellen lived with quiet panic, her financial stability unraveling. "I thought love would be enough," she said. "But I didn't realize how much I was risking." Financial stability in your 70s is about more than dollars. It's about dignity, autonomy, and the ability to live life on your terms. Remarriage may offer emotional comfort, but without careful planning, the financial consequences can be devastating. Before saying, "I do," pause to protect your heart and your wallet. Consult a financial advisor, draft legal agreements, and ensure your legacy is secure. Your future self, and your loved ones, will thank you. Number 2. Health responsibility overload. Remarriage after 70 is often seen as a pathway to companionship, but it also means signing up for your new spouse's health journey, a commitment that can be far more demanding than anticipated. At this stage, health isn't a peripheral concern, it's a daily reality. Most people in their 70s are managing their own medical needs. Doctor visits, medications, dietary restrictions, or chronic conditions like arthritis, hypertension, or diabetes. These responsibilities require time, energy, and focus. Adding another person's health challenges to the equation can pull you back into a caregiving role just when you're ready to prioritize your own well-being. After a lifetime of caring for others, children, spouses, or aging parents, you may have earned the right to slow down. But remarriage can disrupt that respite. Your new spouse may have their own medical complexities, from mobility issues to serious conditions requiring ongoing care. What begins as minor assistance, reminding them to take pills or driving them to appointments, can escalate into full-time caregiving. This shift can drain you physically, emotionally, and mentally, transforming a relationship meant for joy into one of obligation. The toll of caregiving in later life is well documented. Studies show that older caregivers often neglect their own health, skipping checkups, eating poorly, or losing sleep due to stress. Social isolation can creep in as they prioritize their spouse's needs over friendships or hobbies. Over time, this neglect can exacerbate existing health issues or trigger new ones, potentially shortening their own lifespan. The emotional weight is equally heavy. Feelings of resentment, exhaustion, or guilt can dim the spark of love that initially brought the couple together. Patricia's story illustrates this challenge. At 76, she remarried a charming man who brought laughter back into her life. Their early months were filled with shared outings and cozy evenings. But a year later, her husband suffered a stroke, and Patricia became his primary caregiver. She managed his physical therapy, bathed him, and lifted him daily, all while ignoring her own worsening knee pain and vision problems. Exhausted and depressed, she reached a breaking point, her once vibrant spirit dulled by the weight of unspoken expectations. "I thought we'd grow old together," she said. "I didn't expect to sacrifice my health for his." This isn't to say that love in later life is doomed to become a burden. But it does require honest reflection. Are you physically and emotionally equipped to take on another person's health needs, potentially for years? Do you have the resources, time, energy, support systems, to care for both your spouse and yourself? Clear boundaries and open communication are essential, as is planning for potential caregiving needs, such as in-home support or long-term care options. Your energy in your 70s is a precious resource, and guarding it is not selfish, it's necessary. If these insights resonate with you, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're engaging with this content. Your feedback helps us create more valuable resources. Let's move on to the next point. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 3. Legal complications. Remarriage after 70 is often driven by emotional needs, but its legal implications can create a web of challenges that affect not just you but your family for generations. Many older adults overlook these complexities, assuming a new marriage will seamlessly blend into their existing plans. However, the legal system views marriage as a binding contract with far-reaching consequences, particularly around inheritance, benefits, and decision-making authority. Inheritance is a primary concern. You may have spent decades building a legacy, your home, savings, or sentimental heirlooms, intended for your children or grandchildren. A well-drafted will might outline these wishes, but remarriage can append those plans. In many states, a new spouse is entitled to a significant portion of your estate, known as the elective share, even if your will prioritizes your children. Without updated legal documents, such as a trust or prenuptial agreement, your assets could be diverted to your spouse or their family, leaving your intended heirs with less or nothing. These disputes often lead to costly and emotionally draining legal battles after you're gone. Social Security and other benefits add another layer of complexity. If you're receiving survivor benefits from a deceased spouse, remarriage typically terminates those payments, reducing your income. For example, a widow relying on her late husband's Social Security might find her financial stability disrupted after remarrying, unaware of the change until the checks stop. Similarly, Medicaid eligibility for long-term care can be affected, as your spouse's assets and income are considered, potentially disqualifying you from coverage you'd otherwise receive. Medical decision-making and power of attorney present additional risks. If you become incapacitated due to illness or injury, your new spouse may automatically assume the role of your legal decision-maker, even if your adult children are better equipped to honor your wishes. This can create tension, especially if your children and new spouse have strained relationships. In worst-case scenarios, disagreements over medical care or financial management can escalate into legal disputes, leaving your family fractured during a crisis. Carol's experience underscores these dangers. At 81, she remarried a man she met at church, envisioning a simple companionship in her final years. But when she fell ill, her new husband assumed legal authority over her medical decisions, overriding her daughter's input. The conflict spilled into a court battle over her care and her estate, including the home she intended for her grandchildren. "I wanted comfort," Carol said. "Instead, I left my family in chaos." Legal clarity is essential to avoid such outcomes. Before remarrying, consult an estate attorney to update your will, consider a prenuptial agreement, and establish trusts to protect your assets. Discuss power of attorney and healthcare directives to ensure your wishes are respected. These steps aren't unromantic, they're an act of love for yourself and your family, preserving your legacy and peace of mind. Remarriage after 70 can be a beautiful chapter, but only if you navigate its legal complexities with eyes wide open. Protect your assets, benefits, and decision-making authority to ensure your fresh start doesn't lead to unintended chaos. Number 4. Erosion of personal freedom. By the time you reach your 70s, you've earned something far more valuable than wealth, accolades, or social status: the freedom to live life on your own terms. After decades of responsibility, raising families, meeting work demands, adhering to societal expectations, and making countless sacrifices, this stage of life is meant to be your reward. It's the time to wake up when you choose, savor meals that suit your tastes, and spend your days pursuing what brings you joy, whether that's gardening, reading, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of coffee in solitude. However, remarriage in your later years can subtly erode this hard-won autonomy, often in ways you might not anticipate until it's too late. When you marry in your 20s or 30s, compromise is a natural part of the journey. You're building a shared life, blending dreams, and navigating decisions as a partnership. But in your 70s, your life is no longer a blank canvas. It's a masterpiece you've carefully crafted over decades. Your routines, habits, and preferences are deeply ingrained, reflecting what keeps you healthy, grounded, and content. Introducing a new partner into this delicately balanced ecosystem can disrupt the harmony you've worked so hard to achieve. Consider the small but meaningful details of daily life. Perhaps you cherish your silent mornings, spent with a newspaper or a favorite podcast, while your new spouse prefers the constant hum of the television. Maybe you've perfected a light, health-conscious eating routine, but your partner insists on elaborate, time-consuming meals that don't align with your needs or energy levels. These differences might seem trivial at first, but over time, they accumulate, creating friction that transforms your once peaceful home into a space of negotiation and compromise. Beyond daily routines, remarriage often demands emotional labor that can feel exhausting at this stage. Relationships require active listening, empathy, and adaptation, skills you've honed over a lifetime but may not want to employ as intensely now. You might find yourself managing your partner's expectations, navigating their family dynamics, or resolving conflicts that pull you away from your own priorities. Your hobbies, painting, golf, or volunteering, may take a back seat. Your cherished alone time might feel like a rare indulgence you must justify. Slowly, the independence you once treasured begins to slip away, replaced by obligations that feel all too familiar from earlier chapters of your life. Take the example of Florence, a 76-year-old widow who remarried after 5 years of living independently. Initially, she welcomed the companionship, shared dinners, evening walks, and someone to share stories with at the end of the day. But as the months passed, Florence noticed subtle losses. Her quiet mornings, once spent journaling or tending to her garden, were interrupted by her husband's need for conversation. Her solo trips to visit old friends were replaced by joint vacations that catered to his preferences. Even her home's thermostat, a small but symbolic detail, was no longer under her control. When I was younger, I didn't mind adjusting, she reflected. But now, every change feels like I'm giving up a piece of myself. This isn't to say that love or companionship are unworthy pursuits in your 70s. Rather, it's a reminder to weigh the cost. Are you prepared to shift from the freedom of solo decision-making to the shared responsibilities of partnership? Are you willing to renegotiate the boundaries of your carefully curated life? For some, the answer might be yes, especially if the relationship enhances their joy without demanding too much sacrifice. But for others, the peace and personal space of independence are worth more than the promise of partnership. After a lifetime of giving, you've earned the right to prioritize your own comfort, pace, and freedom. If you're finding this perspective resonates with you, please leave a comment below with number 4 to share that you're engaging with these ideas. Your feedback helps us create more content to inform and inspire. Now, let's explore the next consideration. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 5. Financial entanglement and vulnerability. Remarriage after 70 can bring emotional warmth and companionship, but it also introduces significant financial risks that can jeopardize the security you've spent a lifetime building. In your younger years, merging finances with a spouse often made sense. You were working together toward shared goals, like buying a home, raising children, or saving for retirement. But in your 70s, the financial landscape is different. You're no longer in the accumulation phase. You're in the preservation phase, safeguarding the assets that ensure your independence, comfort, and legacy. Remarriage, without meticulous planning, can unravel decades of careful financial stewardship. Money in later life is more than a number in a bank account. It's a symbol of your security, your ability to make choices, and your capacity to leave a meaningful legacy for your loved ones. When you remarry, your financial world doesn't simply expand. It merges, often in complex and unpredictable ways. Depending on the legal structure of the marriage, your assets, social security benefits, pensions, and even debts may become intertwined with your spouse's. Without clear, legally binding protections, like prenuptial agreements, updated wills, or comprehensive estate plans, this merger can lead to unintended consequences that threaten your financial stability. Consider the potential complications. If your new spouse has children from a previous marriage, what happens to your assets after you're gone? Will your savings, property, or heirlooms go to your own children or grandchildren, as you intended, or could they be diverted to your spouse's family? Without explicit legal documentation, such as a trust or an updated will, your estate could become a battleground, sparking disputes that fracture family relationships. These conflicts are not only emotionally draining but can also lead to costly legal battles that deplete the very resources you work to protect. Another scenario to consider is the introduction of financial liabilities. Imagine you've spent decades paying off your home and living comfortably within your retirement savings. Now, your new spouse enters the marriage with unpaid debts, perhaps medical bills, credit card balances, or loans. Or maybe their financial habits differ significantly from yours. They might lend money to their adult children, make impulsive purchases, or prioritize spending over saving. In a shared financial arrangement, these choices can directly impact your nest egg. A single shared bank account, a co-signed loan, or a joint financial decision could expose your carefully built foundation to risks you never anticipated. The story of Gerald, an 82-year-old widower, illustrates this reality. After losing his first wife, Gerald remarried, drawn to the comfort of companionship. He assumed love would smooth over any practical concerns, including finances. But within 2 years, he found himself paying off his new wife's substantial medical debts, financially supporting her unemployed adult son, and selling the vacation home he had planned to pass on to his daughter. "I just wanted someone to share my days with," he said. "I never imagined I'd lose so much of what I'd worked for." This doesn't mean remarriage is inherently a financial disaster. With proactive planning, open conversations about money, legal agreements to protect assets, and professional guidance from financial advisors or estate planners, it's possible to mitigate these risks. However, such planning requires time, energy, and clarity, and in your 70s, you may not have the same margin for error as you did decades ago. A single oversight, like failing to update a beneficiary designation or neglecting to clarify ownership of a property, can have lasting repercussions. Before deciding to remarry, ask yourself critical questions. Am I prepared to navigate the complexities of a financial merger? Do I have the resources and resolve to protect my estate, my legacy, and the people I care about? Am I ready to engage in honest, potentially uncomfortable conversations about money with my partner? If any of these questions give you pause, it's worth taking the time to reflect and seek professional advice. At this stage of life, your financial peace is a non-negotiable asset, and remarriage should enhance, not endanger, that security. Now that you've heard the truth about remarriage after 70, I want to hear from you. What's the most important lesson you're taking away from this video? Maybe it's the financial risks, the legal complications, or the importance of protecting your freedom. Whatever it is, let me know in the comments below. Share one thing you've learned and how you'll apply it to your life. Your experiences and insights matter, so don't hesitate to join the conversation. And if this video helped you see love, money, and independence in a new way, do me a favor. Hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more honest advice on living your best life after 70. Thanks for watching, and remember, your golden years should be about joy, not regret. See you in the next video.